Hey, good morning everyone. Nice to see you in this morning. Let me know if you can see me and let's get started. My name is Yuri and we're gonna be live coding this nice thing that you can see on the top right part of the screen. Yay, it's all good. It's gonna be this impossible doodle, and I think it had some more incarnations on Twitter, some more GIFs done with this same idea, but I'm gonna do just the simplest one possibly and show you how you can create this one with Three.js. So yeah, I think we could start. Morning everyone. How you doing? How's your Sunday? What you drinking? Hey. Okay, so this is a doodle I'm gonna be trying to create. It's created with array margin in this particular case. Yay, thank you. Thank you, Evan. And let's, yeah, let's create it. I'm gonna be using Canvas Sketch for this one. Let's call it doodle. And then I want to create the Canvas Sketch with the Three.js basic code. And to do this, I'm really not a fan of saving those snippets. So this is a template. Let's go. No, I haven't been there. I don't know. Nobody invited me. I'm not a T-shaped guy, probably. So we have the cube. Perfect. Let's open up the code. I'll probably want to open the whole folder because I will need some additional files. So we have the basic Three.js template, and we want to create this impossible doodle. So if you remember that doodle, it actually consists of those sections, like 3D sections of a ring, of this 3D ring. How do you call this one? Like a square ring. So the first thing I want to do is, okay. Yeah, let's see a bit closer. I'm talking about these shapes, the bigger one. So I want to create this shape in a 3D. There are a bunch of ways you can do this. If you can actually create this one in a Blender, but I'm more a fan of creating this one parametric functions. So I will create the additional file. I will create the file called get. I'll call this one brick. It's gonna be called get brick brick.js. We'll have some parameters probably. I would also need to import 3 in there, and in my sketch I will just import I just don't want to spoil the file with additional JavaScript in here, and here we'll just run it on a on what? My template start, and just to see if it's really working. The first thing I usually do is just do this kind of shitty debugging part, and we'll export default function. Yeah, so alert is working, it's all good. Now I can do something like this. I can even create material, which is gonna be just a mesh basic material. So far we're just creating the geometry that I need to create this animation, and then we'll proceed to the other parts. We are going to do the this one. Oh yeah. Still having this alert. I don't need it. The material is going to be just the usual material. Let it be red, and then the mesh equals mesh geometry. Let's just create the temporary geometry for the I don't know, cube box buffer geometry. And then I could create the mesh with this geometry and material and just return it. And then here, instead of just running the get break, I could do this. So instead of creating the mesh right here, I will create the mesh in the outer file. Hey, look. Yeah, so there we go. It's working good. We are creating the cube in a separate file now. And the only thing I need to do now is to create not a cube, but this segment geometry that I have seen right here in a mis-shader stream. Okay, not a stream, but the GIF. Maybe she also streamed. Okay, let's continue. So now I need to create this shape. I think even inside the 3JS, there's a bunch of ways you could do that, but for me, the simplest one was to create the extrude geometry, because this this geometry is kind of plain. How do I call it? It's just an extruded shape, and that's why, hey, this is a pen. That's why I want to create it with these. So I will create the new shape, and then to create the geometry, you just need to do something like you do in Canvas 2D and create some kind of path that you can then extrude. And then afterwards, I can just do the geometry, extrude geometry, this shape, and then extrude settings, which I will just copy paste like this. False. I don't want to spell well. Alrighty, so now the only thing is left to do is to create this shape. Depth 16, I think it's too damn big because my whole screen is just something like 1 or 2 meters units. The shape. First we move to some point in space, in 2-dimensional space actually, and then just to create something. Let's do it this way. Well, let's see if this works out. I'm not using this geometry yet. I'm creating it, but I'm using the old geo. Let's try to create the new one. Yeah, we have something like a cube, but this is obviously an extruded shape because I just draw a cube here. Because I can do this and it's not going to be a cube anymore. It's going to be some weird angled shape, and you can do anything here. So let's introduce something like detail, which is going to be, let's say 100. Okay, let's say 100. And then I think I would need the lerp function for the linear interpolation, and I think it's easier to write your own than to include it from the npm, because it looks like this. Yep. So when the t is equal 0, it's going to be A, and when t equals 1, it's going to be B. That's it. And then I think I would need to okay, these bricks, they actually have like I need to have a lot of them, like maybe 10, 15, I don't know. It should be parametric, right? And that's why I want to get 2 vars here, like the index of the and the number, like the index of this section and then the number of the section. Yeah, but let's first create the first one and then I'm gonna use those variables. Alrighty. So I'll create the loop until the detail, and then let's say I'll have one angle equals 0, and then angle 1 equals 2 multiplied by my pi divided by 10. It's gonna be number in future. So it's some small angle, it's just 1/10 of the 360 degrees, so 36 degrees actually. And then And then for this section, I need also two radiuses, because the small one and the big one. So I'll have the R1 equals, let's say 1, and then R2 equals 0.8. It's not a big difference, so we have some kind of ring. Okay, and now I need to get all those points on this two-dimensional shape to get it extruded and get the three-dimensional shape in the end. And well, how would you go about this? I think inside the loop I would just I could actually create the shape right away, maybe. Should I? Hey, got a bit stuck for a moment. That's when I realized that I need wine. Just to relax a bit, you know. Yeah, so you have a beer, right? I just noticed that you have a beer emoji. Wonderful. Okay. This is actually quite a simple problem. I just need to figure out which way I would go. Would I create the... I'll just create the array of the dots, and then I'll create the shape itself. So it's going to be the dots array, and then I will populate these dots with something. And that something needs to be like, first I'm going to do the small section part. Why you're drunk? It's just the morning, or which time zone you're at. Okay, so I need to calculate 2 points here. I think it should be an array also, because it's going to be 2 points. 2 points is an array. Like this. So it's going to be R2, the small one, multiplied by my sign, and then I need to lerp, and I think I need to include the last tail. So I need to lerp between the angle 1 and angle 1 with the I divided by detail. So this would be changing from 0 to 1, and that means that I'm gonna go from angle to angle 1, and I should multiply this by math p doubled. Well, thank you for the kind words. And then the same for the cosine, because this is how you drew the circles in math. Just take sine and cosine from the same angle, multiplied by the radius, and you're done. This will create this small kind of part of the circle. And then I need to create the big one too. So I'll create another loop, also detail, and then the first radius. And then the only difference I would need to make here is I would actually draw it. The simplest application to draw something. Photoshop, of course. So I created something bigger. So I did this, like center is here, and I drew this in this direction, like this angle shows the direction. And then I can do another circle, but if I go the same direction, I will start here. So it's gonna go here and then return here and then go here. So I need to start in the end and then go to the start, like from here. And to do this is actually quite simple. I would just exchange the angles here in the lerp function, and I would go the other way from the angles. Yeah, and this is how I create the basics foundation for my geometry, and then I need to create the actual geometry. I will do the shape move to. It's gonna be dots 0 0. Just create the first dot. I need to start somewhere, and then dots 0 1. This is the XY coordinates. All right, and then I'll have the loop. So dots for each dot. gonna be shape line 2 dot 0 just dot 1. So we're doing some blind computation here, but I hope you understand. We did the two semi-partly circles, how do you call them, and then we just create the shape out of those. I could have actually did it right here, but I think it's a bit cleaner this way. Yeah, and then I'm extruding that shape in the end. I need to remove this then, and I need to create the shape before I'm actually drawing the stuff. And fingers crossed, yeah, we have something. It's not really what I expected to have, but it's something. It's almost like we did it, but not. And why is that, you might ask? I have no freaking idea. Oh yeah, I probably know the maybe no, I don't know. I think I don't have to multiply this one by the 2 pi here, because this is already in the range of the 2 pi. I already have it here, so it should be as easy as that. And then why do I have yeah, I missed the geometry part somewhere here, so it's gonna be geometry. Yeah, so it's 1/10 of the circle, and I think I extruded it too much, so maybe something like here, this should do the job. Yeah, I have this thing now. I will introduce the, well, let's just try if it's really working, like 1/3 of the circle. Yeah, there we go, we have a 1/3 of the ring. So we're just creating the parametric geometry right now. Los Angeles peeps, whoa, hello to Los Angeles, long time no see. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Is it a night in LA now already? All right, so now we have this extruded shape. I want these vars to work now. I want to divide by number. So this is going to be the part of the circle I'm taking. And then I want these angles to depend on the index. So it's actually going to be... So the index, if the index is 0, I should start at 0. It should be working like this. And then if the index is +1, I should take the next section of the angle. So it's going to be index +1 multiplied by the same thing. And let's try those here. So when I'm trying to get brick, I'll try 0 section out of say 15. And we have it here. And let's say I want a 5th section of 15. Yeah, and I have it. So it's working good right now. We're having the parametric geometry, and we can take any section of the circle with this geometry now. And it's quite easy to do it. So this is the whole code that took us. And most of it was just copied from the documentation. All right. What's next? What's next? I think I want to now figure out like how I would turn my lights on this geometry. I don't want a basic material anymore. Let's say I want Lambert material. I'll just remove the color part, so it's going to be a bit nicey and shady, just like I posted in my recent GIF. Of course, you can change the colors as you wish. This is just the default ones that I kind of like. All right. Also, I think, yeah, about figuring out the whole positioning of the camera and the stuff. I want my light to put some light from the top. So it's going to be lighting from the top. I want it to be directional. This should do the job. And now the top is not where I want it to be. So I actually want this I want this circle to lie in the plane, light it from the top. And then what I need to do, I need to rotate I think the easiest is to rotate the whole geometry. And what I want it to rotate from, I think the x-axis, rotate x, I think this is how you do it, by math divided by 2, I think. Yeah, so now we have the screen, it's being rotated, it's actually being rotated in the right direction even now, so it's just rotating around the circle, like here, yeah, and it's lighted from the top. So this is what I'm heading to do. I want it to be lighted from the top, at least the left side. If you just hide the left side, it should be lighted from the top. So then I will need to create the loop here. I will also introduce another var, another parameter here. Where's this get brick? It should be something called spacing, and let's spacing equals 0.1 space, and the space is going to be plus space minus space. And let's see, I want to make the full circle now. So to make the full circle, I will remove this heading. I will create the num equals 15, let's say, num, and then mesh equals get brick I num, and then the spacing, and then add this mesh to the scene. And let's see what we have now. So we have this kind of geometry now, getting closer, right? And the space is actually this space between the items. If I make it smaller, it's going to be something like this. Yeah. So we're getting there, right? Alrighty, what's next? I think next is wine. Next was wine. Okay. Next thing I like to do. Now we need to figure out, like, how do you even do this kind of illusion? And it's actually quite easy because the secret is exposed right here. This is how you do it. But let's figure out how we do it in a 3JS, because it's a bit different than what you do in ray marching. Yeah, I will create this one, I think. And then we can maybe, if we have some time, we'll create the inside shape too. All right. What's next? Mr. Yuri. I don't need extrude geometry anymore. So actually, to create those two shapes, I will need to create two scenes, and I will also need to create those two shapes with they're gonna be orthogonal to each other. So actually what you see here, where was that? Yeah, what you see here, it's two shapes being orthogonal to each other, and you just see the left part of one shape and the right part of the other shape. Let's start by creating two parts of the render, and you do this with the scissor tests. And yeah, this is what we need to do. First, we enable the scissor tests. So it's render scissor test true. And then when we render, we could actually render 2 times. And we could render to different parts of the how do you call it? Of the canvas. Yeah, of the viewport, of the viewing size. And then I will also state the duration of the animation. Let it be 3 seconds, and I think I would need the width and height somewhere here probably, and globally too. All right, get in there. So we have now, what we have now? We have this, what? This is because I enabled the scissor test probably, right? If I disable it, it's gonna be all good. Okay, so let's get on creating this scissor test. And to do this, inside the render loop, I would disable the rotation for now. I would, yeah, it's not working because it's enabled with the scissors now. I want to render to the left part of the screen first. I want to create the render for the left part of the screen. And to do this, I'll do first the set viewport. I think this is somewhere in the examples of the Free.js. And I should state the, I think the left and the top coordinates of the square, and then width divided by 2, and then the height, and then I could render. And then I should also state the scissor, like where I would cut it. It's gonna be the same. Let's see what's gonna happen now. So now we are rendering only to half of the screen, and just to see it better, yeah, so now it's a square canvas, but we are rendering only to the left half of the screen. All right, perfect, perfect. And then I need the same loop for the right part of the screen. So this one will start with the first one is x, so it's going to be width divided by 2. Yeah, I think this one is not the coordinate, but the width of the scissor part. So this one is going to be the coordinate, and now we have 2 scenes. Perfect. I think the aspect ratio is off because we squeezed it 2 times. And also what is wrong here is the perspective. I still have the perspective here, and I don't want it to have, like, see, these shapes are look much bigger than the other ones. And for this illusion to happen, I should remove the perspective. I'll just copy paste my code. This is 99% the same as in docs, because it's just easier to access from my desktop. I need the orthographic camera instead of the usual one. So it was a perspective camera. And let's say I want to look at the scene through the 45-degree angle diagonally, right? So I want to look through something like this. So x is 0, and I'm actually a bit higher than the surface, where y equals 0, and I'm a bit further from the surface. So I'm actually looking at the scene now at 45-degree angle. And yeah, let's do the camera. Custom size, let's say 3, and then this is going to be the width and the height. I can't believe it. Maybe I finally learned how to pronounce the height, not the height anymore, only the height now. All right, so now we have the frustum size, which is kind of the size of the camera, size of the view of the camera, and then the aspect ratio, and it should be fine. Yeah, now so we got rid of the perspective. This is an orthographic camera now. It looks a bit different. You can see that now those shapes are the same size. Like, even if they are further away, it's still the same size. Now I should fix the perspective, and because I just have 2 halves of the screen, I could just multiply this by 0.5. Now the perspective is perfect. Now I want to create the second scene. I already have the one scene. Let's create the scene 1. I'll have another loop here. I should probably remove this. Let's call this one space. And I'll create another one, and it's going to be scene 1, adding the same brick. Should I create the group maybe for this? And then the scene 1 add group, and then let's call it 1 just for the sake of the once, and then I will be adding to the group 1 here. Alrighty, and then when I'm rendering, I should state that I'm rendering the scene 1 now. Nothing is working because space is not defined. Space, yeah, of course. It's all good now. Don't see anything on the right part of the screen because why? And it somehow started to be slow. Why is that? I've only changed the scene here. It's good like this. I messed up something with the scene 1. Probably. But I'm not sure what exactly I messed up. I'm just creating the group. I'm adding this group to the scene, and then I'm populating with the bricks. And I'm adding them to the group. And why is that slow now? And why can't I see anything? Okay, I want to see the performance really here. Like, why is it being so slow? What's it actually doing there? Just like some recursion or something is happening. It's doing a lot of job here. Just submitting a render call. What is wrong here? Okay, let's maybe not add this group to the scene. What's gonna happen? It's all fine. Ah, yeah. You are right. This is stupid. This is me being stupid. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I'm just adding it to the group. No. Well, okay. Let's try to do this way. Well, it should work the both ways actually. I don't know why. Right. No lights. Yep. This is the thing that happened. So I would actually need to create the lights in the second scene too. But why is it being slow anyway, even if it has no lights? And then I'll create the light 1, I'll position it at the same, and I add the light 1 to the scene. Yeah, now it's all good. I don't know why it was being so slow when it had no lights. So now we have, it's the same scene. Now we are in 2 scenes now. It's all correct, right? So I can rotate the group 1 now, just with some arbitrary angle, and let's say this arbitrary angle will be just a right angle. So group 1 rotation x equal p divided by 2. Getting there, right? Now these 2 shapes are rotated, and they are actually orthogonal, just like I stated in the beginning. Now what I need to do, I need to move them closer to each other. And would you believe it, maybe we'll get the illusion now. So maybe I should create the group in the first place here, not to move the camera, create 2 groups. And then I will add to the group, and then I could shift all the groups. Like, let's preview the animation. So group 1 position x equals, I think it should be something dependent on the frustum, probably, because I have some kind of width of the viewport, and I need to shift my frustum. How did I call it? The frustum size divided by 2. I think this is too much. I probably need to multiply this by the aspect ratio too. Yeah, so now it's exactly half, and I should do the same for the other group. almost there. So we just move two groups to each other. And then I think I need to account to the height of each of the segments. Like you see, they're exactly different on the height of one segment, on the depth of the one segment. And the depth of the segment is actually 0.2, if I remember right. 0.2. So this means that group 1 y position 0.2. No, it's not the y, z. Maybe x. It's only 3 coordinates. Okay. Maybe I should move the other way. It's not the rotation. It's not the rotation. What the heck? I'm changing the rotation. Ouch. Yay. Now we have something. It doesn't, well, it almost fits, but something is still off. And I think this is because I'm not moving it. Maybe something is not off. Maybe it's everything. I think it's perfect now. I think we could just try to rotate now. So we could try to rotate the groups. We will be rotating the groups, and they both should be rotating for the y-axis, by the y-axis. So I need to go to the render, and then group 1, just group rotation y equals math pi multiplied by 2 and by the playhead, and the same for the group 1. And well, nothing is working because I don't have the playhead. Yeah, no, I think it's too slow. Let's make it 1. No, it's actually faster. Yeah, and well, this is actually the thing. This is the thing. But let's do a double thing then. I think one thing is not enough. You could see it's not that hard once you grasp the illusion. It's actually just two shapes being orthogonal in space and shifted to the right angle. Okay, and then what I want to do next, I want to create two circles, and then I wanted to experiment a bit with the spacing and with this part. Like maybe 15 is too much and the spacing is too big. Okay, maybe this is not the right direction to go about this one. It's hard to notice where it connects. So it actually connects in the middle, in the half of the screen. Okay, let's create two shapes. Let's create two shapes. I actually can make a loop to create those two shapes, because when I can make both groups first. I can add them to the scene. Right, so far so good. Now I have those two loops. I can also state the those margins for the loops. Now the actual mesh creation is just this, right? It couldn't be simpler than that. Now I want to create a couple of layers of this. So let's put those into the loop. So when I will be creating those meshes, I actually want to set the k by k. It should be like 2, and then this one should be the k. Okay. Now I want to make two of those rings, and for this I will need to state again the position of the shape. So I want to position, and then I think I need something like a margin. Margin equals 0.4, let's say 4. And then mesh position, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be a different coordinates for both of the for both shapes, I think. So it should be y for one shape and I think z for the other shape. If I don't mess it up again, maybe it should be y for the both. Okay. just mesh position, and because I already have position for the group, it should be correct. So I can state mesh position set y. Y is like the height coordinate for us. It's gonna be margin multiplied by k. Let's just try this one. Let's just try it blindly and see what happens. Yeah, we kind of get in there. We have two shapes now. I think the margin should be just a bit. Maybe it's good. It's good. It's just those shapes shouldn't overlap because it will break the illusion, but they're not overlapping in the middle point, so we should be fine. And then for the second shape, I think for the group, we need to account for this. And it's going to be margin multiplied by 2. No, just the margin. Yeah, now we have the two shapes. Let's go further. Now that we have a loop, we can do a lot of those things. Alrighty, and like to do a lot of them, I need to make them smaller. So let's say I want depth to be something like this, and then I need to create the A, and I need to create the same depth here. Should create the same variable, but where's my depth? How do I calculate this depth? I've never put it into variable actually. Oh, it's in here, right? It's in this. It's in here. Alrighty. And now I think this should be the thing that is missing, and now I can do a lot of those shapes. Like hell of a lot of those shapes. And then I think I could make the margin a lot smaller now, like 0.1. It's too small. 15. I think this is better. And then I can do like 10 of those shapes. Like 10. With two it was the correct margin. Oh yeah, I know what's happening here, because this margin we need to shift it anyway. And this margin needs to be multiplied by 10 minus 1, so by 9. Yay! Now we have this crazy figure, and well, maybe I should just shift the scene position. What's that? Y equals scene 1 position equals minus 0.4 something. Yeah. Now we have this crazy figure with the 10 rings even, and we can do further than, I don't know, what can we create? This is actually a crazy idea that you can try to come up with your own animation concerning this one. And I think just as of today, see the Tian or the Chong, I think somebody posted recently. Yeah, so this is actually using the same idea here. I think so, at least. I think it's the same idea. And then another one that Joe posted just today is this one. It's actually, I think, using the same kind of idea, just using the processing. I don't even know how you do that in processing. I only know how you can do that with the 3JS. And this one as well. I don't even know how this one is done. Should probably try myself. This is the actual Mobius strip. And this is cool. And actually, you know, did anyone of you ever read the book Surely You're Kidding, Mr. Feynman? And I think there's a story that he got to date his future wife because he knew something about the Mobius strip. So maybe, guys, you could try to use this one to find your future wife if you don't have your current wife, of course. Don't look for the future one if you have the current one. Yeah, we have a Discord channel. Yeah, for everyone who supports me with the $1 on the Patreon, you could get into the Discord channel. It's half Russian though, but yeah, if you speak English there, everybody would just speak English there. And we also have this 3JS Discord channel, which is also kind of nice. Yeah, and thank you for all the supporters. I actually, this is a record support for me per month. I got almost to the $100. Maybe I could beat the $100 borderline. So I would be fucking rich. I could afford the wine. I could afford the wine next time. Right, I'm just kidding. So thank you everyone for support. I really appreciate it. It's not about the money even, it's just about somebody taking care and spending like a minute supporting me. So yeah, that's where we arrived. I don't know what we could do next. We could try to experiment with this one. What I actually did in this GIF, in the one that I did, I actually also made the sign distortion for each of the how do you call it? For each of those shapes. I actually made the distortion as well. You want me to create this distortion? Let's try to do this one. For this one, I will just need to, I'll create the depth if we have some time. Depth for now is equals this. And then this is the depth. And then I should use the depth also in my getBrick function. It's gonna be depth. It's here, it should be also depth. And then where do I use this one? It's gonna be 1 minus depth. And then depth here. Yeah, it's working fine for now. Now I can change the depth and play with it. Yeah, it's getting crazy, but you see we're breaking the illusion now in the center, but it's still nice. Alrighty, it's also Ukrainian, so it's not only Russian. Right, what I wanted to do, I wanted to make the loops shorter. Also wanted to, let's comment this for now. Multiply this one by 0. It's all fine. Now I could change the depth to something like huge. Yeah, so it's kind of looks cooler and we can see all the shadows on the edges and they made the trick. And then maybe more shapes, like 12. And then I will create 2 arrays. And now we populate those with my shapes. And then I could loop through them. Mesh. There's one catch. I would be changing the y coordinate, and I actually need some starting y coordinate here because I'm changing it. I'm setting the y coordinate here. So I would do this instead. I would use it for the objects, and then y equals, it's actually 0 for now, right? So I don't really need it. I would need it if I would have a lot of those shapes. Well, let's save it anyway for now. Maybe we could go to the numerous shapes, and it's going to be some crazy stuff which I haven't done myself. There's a whole lot of experiments you can do with this one. all right. Save this one, so it's going to be mesh here. Mesh, and then what's next? Mesh y equals something not so big, like 0.2 multiplied by mass sign, and then the playhead multiplied by 2 pi's, so it makes the whole loop. And then I could also add something like this, the index. So this value is going to be changing from 0 to 1 because this is the length of the array. Num is actually the number of the elements I have in the array, and this is the index. And it should be fine, but let's see. Nothing is happening because... Why do I think nothing is happening? Probably some stupid error here. Let's see, do we even have those arrays here yet? 12 elements on each of them. Oh yeah, it's not just Y, it's position Y. We should make the full circle with the indices too. Right, we should multiply this by the 2 pi. Kind of getting there. But one shape is always a bit higher than the other, or what? Maybe they are broken in a different... Oh yeah, right. They were just... It's a different shift I need to account for this one. One I should move the higher and one I should move a bit to the bottom. And then I could change this one to something like 0.4. And we get in there, right? It's a cool stuff now. Time to drink some wine. I wonder what would happen if I do a lot of those shapes. If I change the depth to something smaller, 0.1, it's going to be small shapes. I'll make them a lot smaller, like it's cubes rotating in the... I think it kind of breaks the illusion at this moment, because you don't really see the Mobius strip anymore, right? So they should have some length. Yeah, it's kind of a different GIF. But anyway, let's do a lot of them. Let's do a lot of them. So if the k was 1, let's make 5, and then should multiply it by 4. 4s, what? Yeah. What's happening here? Where's my shape? Should have a lot of them. What the hell? Why did my shapes go, guys? So I have this loop. Do I still have the console log? No, I don't. Yeah, 60 now, this is right. But why don't I have them on my screen? Because probably... Yeah, this is when I need the Y coordinate, because they are all now rendered in the same spot. This is this thing that is happening now. So I will need to add Y here. Right, and the same thing here. Yeah, so now we have all those shapes. It's not really same illusion anymore, right? It's kind of cool, but not... It's hard to see the Mobius strip here now. Yeah, they were stacked at the same point. It was because the coordinate. I didn't account for the shifted coordinate for each of the objects. Well, I don't know where I can go from this one. I had something in my mind, but I just realized that I forgot that. It's actually nice, even without the illusion, this animation is kind of funny. Like how you would look at these shapes, especially in the orthogonal perspective. Kind of a nice animation. Yeah. Okay, maybe I should make the k smaller in the end and make the depth bigger. I already broke down something. Some number is off. I don't know which one. So just one is a bit higher than the other. And this is because I have two shapes and the margin is too small. Yeah, that's probably what's happening here. Yeah. Well, let's leave it at that. I would get back to 1. Yeah. Then we don't need this margin anymore. And then I could make them a lot deeper than that. And then we have the illusion again, and it's kind of nice. So you should have to play with the depth and with all the parameters to get it to the illusion now. But we got there. I hope you liked this short trip into the creating the Mobius strip with a 3JS. So it was about the scissor render, and then about the correct angle, and then the orthogonal projection, and then you got the illusion. You could easily break it like this. This is all about the correct light, correct geometries, correct math. This is it. Hope you like this one. If you liked, you can support me on the Patreon. It make me smile. It's nice that you shared this morning with me. I really care about that. Thank you for being here with me. I wish you all the best. Don't be sad. And if you want to be sad, just be sad for a short moment. Call the closest one, call your parents, call somebody that you love. And I'll go with my day. Yeah, they're morphing into each other. Nice illusion indeed. But it is all this thanks to the Miss Shader and Luna sorcery for giving up the idea of how you could create this one. And that's it. Perfect. This is a perfect GIF. Yeah, can make the vine a lot bigger now. Thank you, everyone. If you got some questions, just ask me or message me on Twitter, message me anywhere. It's gonna be in the description, all the contacts. I appreciate the comments, I appreciate the feedback. Have a good day, everybody. Hope you would have a good day. See you next Sunday, probably.